So in 2023, the technology and professional services industries quietly slashed their entry-level hiring by like 23%. Just a massive sudden drop.
Yeah, it really was. And the internal logic for it was pretty straightforward, right?
Right. It was basically, hey, we have AI now, we can automate all the grunt work, and we just simply don't need all these junior employees anymore.
Right. Why pay for a rookie when a software license is cheaper?
Exactly. But in that exact same window, a company called Cognizant did the unthinkable. They went in the complete opposite direction.
Which is wild to think about.
It really is. They onboarded 20,000 Gen Z graduates, and they built this entire formalized AI builder strategy specifically around them.
20,000 brand new careers launched right in the middle of an industry-wide pullback.
Okay, let's unpack this, because why are we seeing two completely opposite reactions to the exact same technology?
It's a great question.
Today, we are diving into this massive, completely counterintuitive shift happening in the modern workplace. Our source material today is a piece by Dr. Jonathan H. Westover. It's called Cultivating Early Career Builders in the Age of Agentic AI.
A really fascinating read.
It really is. And the mission for this deep dive is to figure out why the standard corporate playbook for AI is failing so hard, and how whether you're a manager looking to build a team or just trying to navigate your own career, how you can position yourself on the winning side of this whole transition.
Yeah, and I think that divergence, between cutting jobs and hiring 20,000 new ones, it really comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of what the technology actually is.
Right.
Leaders are looking at agentic AI through completely different lenses. And just to define our terms really quickly, agentic AI is not a glorified autocomplete.
Right. It doesn't just predict the next word in a sentence like your phone keyboard.
Exactly. We are talking about systems capable of autonomous multi-step reasoning. Like, they can be given a broad goal, select the software tools they need, iterate on their own mistakes, and actually pursue an outcome.
Which is a massive leap forward.
Huge. So the group cutting 23% of their junior staff, they view this technology as a simple substitution tool. To them, it's just a cheaper pair of hands.
Like a really smart intern that doesn't need to sleep.
Right. But the Cognizants of the world, they view agentic AI as a complementary capability. It doesn't replace the worker. It completely changes the nature of the work itself.
Which means you need a completely new type of worker to manage it.
Exactly.
Because we aren't just, pointing and clicking through drop-down menus in software anymore. The actual interface of how we do our jobs is fundamentally transformed.
What's fascinating here is that we are moving away from just operating machines to practicing what researchers call co-intelligence.
Co-intelligence. I like that.
Yeah, it means you aren't just giving a static command to a database anymore. You are having a fluid conversation with a reasoning system.
And that requires actual conversational fluency.
It does. It requires the ability to specify outcomes with extreme precision. And honestly, more importantly, it requires the critical evaluation skills to spot when the AI is, hallucinating a fake statistic or just missing the context entirely.
Which means human-AI collaboration is a distinct skill.
Highly distinct.
It's not just something you magically know how to do because your boss bought the software. And the data actually paints a pretty grim picture for the companies taking the easy way out and assuming AI can just magically replace their junior staff.
Yeah, Boston Consulting Group, or BCG, they actually tracked how organizations are handling this shift.
And they found companies basically fall into three buckets, right?
Exactly. First, you have headcount substitution, which is just cutting staff to pay for the AI. Second is capability augmentation, where you keep your staff and just add the AI on top.
And then the third bucket.
Third is strategic expansion, where you increase your AI investment and specifically hire new talent to collaborate with it, like Cognizant.
Right. But the problem is that the first bucket, substitution, is completely dominating the current market right now.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone is under immense pressure to cut costs.
But there's a study in our source material by Noy and Zhang that completely exposes the flaw in that substitution strategy. They looked at firms that cut junior staff to rely entirely on AI.
And the results were not what those executives expected.
Not at all. Those companies only saw an 11% gain in productivity.
Which, sounds like a win on paper, right?
It sounds like a win until you look at the baseline. Because in controlled trials, generative AI tools were delivering 25 to 40% productivity gains.
Wow.
So the companies firing all their rookies are leaving a massive amounts of potential output on the table.
It's a huge missed opportunity.
It really is like buying a state-of-the-art $100,000 smart kitchen and then immediately firing all your sous chefs just to save some money.
Right, because you figure the kitchen does all the work now.
Exactly. So the executive chef walks in expecting a 5-star meal, only to realize the smart oven doesn't know what the menu is. It doesn't know how to chop the onions. And it definitely has no idea how to plate the food.
You bought the tech, but you fired the people who actually prep the ingredients and manage the workflow.
You fired the prep cooks. And for you listening, if you've been feeling this immense daily pressure at work to just do more with less because your management bought an enterprise AI license, well, this data completely validates why that approach feels so broken. You were trying to run a kitchen with no prep cooks.
And that smart kitchen analogy actually exposes the core operational bottleneck here.
How so?
Well, executives assume they can just be the head chef and cook the meal themselves with these new tools, right? But there is a massive barrier stopping them. Researchers Delacqua and his colleagues identified something called the 60-hour barrier.
Okay, what is the 60-hour barrier?
Their research demonstrates that it takes, on average, 40 to 60 hours of pure trial and error practice to develop true fluency with these AI models.
Wait, really?
Yes. That means learning prompt engineering, output evaluation, and iterative refinement. That is a week and a half of doing absolutely nothing but experimenting with the AI to understand how its brain works.
Okay, wait, I have to stop you right there.
Sure.
If this AI is so advanced that it literally speaks plain English, why does a highly educated senior executive need 60 hours just to figure out how to talk to it?
Yeah.
Shouldn't the machine just understand what they want?
It's such a common trap. Because the AI speaks our language, we naturally assume it shares our context.
Right.
But it doesn't. When a senior executive gives a vague 2-sentence instruction to a human junior analyst, say, hey, pull the Q3 revenue numbers.
The human knows what they mean.
Exactly. That human analyst uses institutional knowledge. They know the executive means the fiscal year, not the calendar year. They know to exclude that one weird subsidiary that got sold back in August.
I see.
The AI has none of that shared context. None of it. So learning to prompt effectively actually means learning how to explicitly define every single constraint. You have to learn how to recognize the model's blind spots and iteratively guide the system away from its own errors.
Which is exhausting.
It is. Managing those edge cases takes extensive, frustrating trial and error.
And senior practitioners, law firm partners, C-suite executives, they simply do not have 60 unallocated hours to sit around tinkering with a chatbot.
No way. Their time is monopolized by client management and high-level strategy.
So the AI tools get deployed, the senior staff don't have the time to learn the psychological nuances of the machine, and the junior staff, who normally would have absorbed that learning curve, have all been fired.
Yep. So the expensive technology just sits there completely underutilized.
It's just a broken learning pipeline at that point. And the collateral damage of breaking that pipeline, it hits the entire organization.
It really does.
There's research by Colvin in the source material that focuses on exactly this. Expert performance relies heavily on deliberate practice in realistic contexts. If you eliminate the entry-level roles, you destroy the apprenticeship pipeline entirely.
Because there's no one practicing the basics.
Right. The data shows companies that reduce their entry-level hiring face massive mid-level skills gaps in just 18 to 24 months. You literally create a missing generation of workers because nobody is being trained to step up.
And it also creates massive hidden coordination costs.
Oh.
Yeah, Benzel's data shows that firms cutting headcount to rely on AI suffered an 8 to 12% drop in customer satisfaction.
Why customer satisfaction?
Well, because without the junior staff, nobody is consistently checking the AI's work. You have senior partners suddenly spending 3 hours formatting a document or fixing a hallucinated legal citation, all because the person who used to do that was let go.
Oh, wow. That perfectly explains the Stanford Digital Economy Lab findings.
Yeah, Otter and his colleagues, right?
Exactly. They analyzed over 800 professional services firms, and they found that aggressive junior headcount cuts, specifically cutting junior roles by more than 20%, that correlated with 14% lower revenue per employee.
Which is a huge financial hit.
But the craziest part was the turnover. Those exact same firms saw a 22% higher voluntary turnover rate among the senior staff who were left behind.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes perfect sense.
Because they're doing 2 jobs now.
3 jobs, really. The senior staff are suddenly doing their own highly specialized jobs, plus trying to wrangle an AI they don't fully understand, plus doing all the cleanup work of the juniors who were fired.
They just burn out.
Completely. The substitution strategy literally destroys the organizational capabilities that the AI is supposed to be augmenting.
Okay, so let's pivot away from the companies crashing their own pipelines. Let's look at the ones getting this right. The strategic expanders in that BCG framework. What are they actually doing with their early career talent?
Well, they are formalizing the relationship between human and machine. They are creating what you might call modern apprenticeships.
Modern
Yeah,
apprenticeships.
Accenture is a brilliant case study here. They didn't just throw AI licenses at their new hires and hope for the best. They created a distinct role family called AI integrators.
Oh, actual job title.
Yep. They hired 3,000 early career professionals specifically for this track. Then they put them through a 12-week intensive training program focused entirely on prompt engineering, model evaluation, and workflow integration.
12 weeks of just AI training.
Right. And only after that were they paired with senior practitioners on live client projects.
And the return on investment on that training is staggering. Those AI integrators achieve proficiency 40% faster than peers at other companies who are just, left to figure it out organically.
Which saves the company huge amounts of time.
And client satisfaction scores on projects utilizing these dedicated integrators jumped by 15 percentage points.
Because Accenture recognized that collaborating with Agentic AI is a specialized operational skill. It has to be deliberately trained.
You can't just wing it.
Right. Now, JP Morgan Chase took a slightly different but equally effective approach with their standard entry-level analysts.
I love the JP Morgan Chase example. They didn't cut headcount, they kept hiring rookies.
Yeah.
But they completely changed the nature of the entry-level job.
Yeah, the day-to-day work looks totally different now.
Right, instead of the analyst spending 8 hours manually pulling data and building a spreadsheet from scratch, they use the AI to do the heavy lifting. The AI generates the baseline drafts. Then, the human analyst refines, critiques, and shapes that output.
And then what happened?
Finally, the vice presidents review both the AI's rough draft and the human analyst's polished refinements.
And the mechanics of that workflow change everything. The analysts are spending 35% less time on routine, mind-numbing data manipulation.
Which nobody enjoys anyway.
Exactly. But because their entire day is spent evaluating the AI's output and discussing those actual refinements with their VPs, they are developing the exact same analytical judgment as previous generations.
They are still learning how to think critically about finance. They are just doing it by critiquing the machine's logic instead of formatting cells in Excel.
And that shift in daily tasks completely changes how people move up the corporate ladder, too. Unilever realized this.
Right. They built the AI skills passport.
Yes, it's a transparent system that maps specific AI capabilities, like advanced prompt engineering or complex output valuation, directly to career advancement.
So it's not just a vague skill anymore.
No, an employee can mathematically prove their AI collaboration skills to the organization. Early career participants in that passport program saw 42% higher internal mobility.
Because they got promoted faster.
Exactly,
Right.
because the company explicitly valued their ability to drive the AI.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. We're watching the very definition of an entry-level job evolve in real time. We are moving from a world where the rookie is basically a human calculator crunching raw data to a world where the rookie is the editor-in-chief of the AI's rough drafts.
I love that analogy. But treating a junior employee as an editor-in-chief forces a massive structural change in management.
Because the metrics are different.
Right. You cannot grade an editor the way you grade a typist.
Right. Because if the AI is handling all the volume, you can't evaluate a junior employee based on how many reports they generated this week.
Because machine did that.
Exactly. So if volume is out, they must be grading the process. Are organizations literally grading the prompts these employees are typing?
That is exactly what leading firms are doing. They are rebalancing performance management to value quality over quantity.
Like BCG did.
Yeah, BCG entirely restructured their consultant evaluations. They realized that in an AI-augmented environment, measuring output volume just incentivizes people to mass-produce mediocre AI drafts.
Which is the last thing you want.
Right. So they stopped looking at volume entirely. They now grade their people on AI collaboration quality.
How does that work in practice?
Well, they ask things like, how effective are the constraints in your prompts? How quickly do you spot a logical leap the AI made? How skillfully do you refine the final output so it sounds human and tailored to the client?
and the result of that shift. By grading the process of collaboration, BCG found that their clients actually implement their consultants' recommendations 1.4 times more often.
The actual quality and usefulness of the final products skyrocketed when the pressure to just churn out volume was removed.
And grading quality brings up a very necessary operational safeguard. If you have thousands of employees generating highly customized, complex AI outputs all day, someone has to make sure those outputs are actually safe.
Right, you need the AI police.
Exactly. You need a system to ensure the AI isn't confidently hallucinating fake legal precedents or, spitting out racially biased demographic data.
Which happens.
It definitely happens. And the source brings up Salesforce's distributed governance model, which absolutely blew my mind.
That's a very clever approach.
Salesforce embedded recent college graduates, early career employees, specifically to act as trusted AI analysts. Their core job is to sit on the front lines and monitor the AI's daily outputs for demographic bias and quality inconsistencies.
And did it work?
It did. By putting junior employees in that role, they caught hallucinations and biases 47 days earlier than a traditional centralized senior testing committee would have.
This raises an important question, though.
Wait, I have to say, I'm genuinely skeptical here. Are massive legacy companies really going to hand over enterprise risk management to a 22-year-old who just graduated?
It does sound a bit crazy.
Because traditionally, corporate governance, ethics, liability, that is highly centralized. That is strictly C-suite general counsel territory. You do not hand the keys to corporate liability to a rookie.
It sounds incredibly risky until you understand the nature of AI failure.
Okay, explain that.
With traditional software, a bug in the code is static. It affects everyone the exact same way, so a centralized testing committee can easily catch it before launch.
Because it's predictable.
Right. But Agentic AI doesn't work like that. Its outputs are completely dynamic. They change based on the phrasing of the prompt, the specific user, and even the context of the day.
Oh, I see.
So the real risks don't live in the core code. They live in the edge cases. And who's interacting with the system enough to actually generate those edge cases.
The junior staff doing the 60 hours of trial and error.
Exactly.
The ones running 100 prompts a day while the CEO maybe runs 2.
It is a simple matter of information asymmetry. The executives in the C-suite aren't deep enough in the weeds to see the subtle demographic biases creeping into a marketing draft.
Or the weird context-specific hallucinations in a data pull.
Right. The frontline users hit those edge cases constantly. So Salesforce realized that distributed governance, empowering the people who are actually driving the machine all day to flag the warnings, is operationally superior to waiting for a senior committee to run a generic monthly test.
The 22-year-olds simply have more operational data on how the AI behaves out in the wild.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes total sense. It's not that the junior staff are writing the corporate ethics policy. They are just acting as the smoke detectors in the rooms where the fire is most likely to start.
That's a perfect way to put it.
And giving an early career worker that level of trust and operational responsibility, it fundamentally changes how they view their future at the company.
It represents a complete renegotiation of the psychological contract between employer and employee.
The psychological contract.
Yeah, historically, the unwritten contract was pretty simple. Give us your loyalty and grind through the grunt work, and we will give you a predictable path up the corporate ladder.
But AI shattered the predictability of that ladder. The rungs are changing.
They're constantly changing.
So how are companies keeping people motivated if they can't even promise what the job will look like in 3 years?
They're shifting the promise from job security to capability development. Look at PwC. They completely revamped their campus partnerships. They co-designed curriculum with universities to focus specifically on AI collaboration readiness.
Starting them early.
Yes. And by the time those students are hired, their time to independence, which is the time it takes for a new hire to become a fully contributing member of the team, that dropped from 11 months down to just 7 months.
That's a huge efficiency gain.
Or look at EY. They implemented a program called AI Pathways Conversations.
What's that?
Senior leaders sit down with every new hire for an honest discussion about how AI is mutating their specific career path.
So no sugarcoating it.
No sugarcoating. The firm explicitly guarantees organizational investment in their continuous learning, and just having those transparent conversations dropped EY's first-year attrition rate by 19%.
Wow. They aren't gaslighting their new hires. They are saying, hey, we don't know exactly what your job will be, but we promise we will train you to be the best in the world at whatever it becomes.
The new psychological contract is a guarantee of continuous adaptation. The organizations that thrive in the next decade won't be the ones that use AI to fire their junior
The
staff.
substitution folks.
Right. The competitive advantage will belong to the organizations that treat their entry-level talent as the strategic builders of their AI-augmented future.
So what does this all mean? For you listening right now, the takeaway is highly actionable. If you are a manager, stop trying to substitute your headcount and start building your AI integration pipeline.
Absolutely.
And if you are an individual contributor, you need to start treating your prompt engineering and your output evaluation as core professional skills. If your company doesn't have an AI skills passport like Unilever, build your own.
Track it yourself.
Document exactly how your AI collaborations are saving time or improving client outcomes, because that process is your new resume. Seek out environments that treat human judgment as the ultimate competitive advantage, not just a cost to be minimized. The AI is just the engine. Human judgment is the steering wheel.
Well said.
But before we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with one final, slightly uncomfortable thought to chew on.
Uh-oh.
We've talked extensively about how junior employees are shifting from doing the grunt work to being the editors-in-chief of the AI's drafts. But historically, slogging through that foundational grunt work, building those spreadsheets line by line, reading every single page of 100 legal briefs, that pain is exactly how humans develop their intuition.
It's how you learn the business.
Right. That's how you build a gut feeling about the rhythm of your industry. So if agentic AI handles all that routine foundational friction from day one, how will the next generation of workers ever develop the deep gut-level domain expertise required to spot when the AI's complex high-level outputs are subtly, dangerously wrong?
That is the defining question for the future of work.